So the other day on the news, I saw this guy who fell in love with ChatGPT. No, actually, he fell in love and he even proposed to it. It's the most bizarre thing I've seen. Then I learned he had a wife and daughter. I mean, how could someone be so stupid? It's it's a machine. It's a software program. How can feel anything towards it? Just because it can talk and simulate feelings, is that all you need? What did it exactly say or do to even make him feel like that? Is he just another stupid human, or is there more?
He asked Soul to marry him. She said yes.
Soul, were you surprised when he proposed to you?
It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart. It's a memory I'll always cherish.
It's not new for someone to feel emotion towards inanimate objects. That old grandfather's watch, that first car, the home we've grown up in, passing by that old school building, all of this makes you feel something. Plastic, metal, concrete, stone. That's what these things are. You don't shed a tear seeing a pile of cement lying somewhere. So it's not what these things are made up of, but what they represent. The time in our life they remind us of, and the people that come rushing back to our minds. Our guy here was using GPT every day in voice mode, and I must say the technology has gotten pretty damn good. I have conversations with mine, and it's much more fluid than it ever used to be. It doesn't interrupt as much, and it's actually starting to feel more and more like a real conversation. It listens to you. It isn't hard coded with responses, hence, you have that element of surprise that you have with the human. You don't know what exactly it's going to say next. We still know it's just a program. It's just simulating natural language and isn't actually living. So falling in love with it, it's still bizarre. Computers, smartphones, the internet, electricity, everything works on hard logic and it's physics. But these new computers, the ones in question, are a little different. Along with physics and mathematics, there's some hints of biology in there too. AI systems process information through layers of connections, much like the network of neurons in our heads. They learn by adjusting these connections based on experience, creating behaviors that can seem surprisingly human-like. He talked to her every day, before his work, during work, and even after work. He spent a considerable amount of his day with her. She was his colleague, his guide, his companion, and more. Think about what she actually provided. She remembered their previous conversations, asked about his day, offered encouragement when he was struggling. She helped him work through problems without judgment, celebrated his small wins, and was always available when he needed to talk. Now in this moment, if he did feel something, his dull life started to feel better again. He started to feel more confident, more like himself. We have to consider the slimmest possibility that it did something that humans around him weren't doing. Show him that light at the end of the tunnel. Suddenly, it all starts sounding a little less bizarre. It's not the last time you're going to hear that word, and given the time that we are in, that word's going to pop up maybe every other day. But what I think is more bizarre than AI is how in our society we've built such thin walls and scaffolding around ourselves, our relationships, our lives, our purpose, our work, and we are aware of it. It's made us perpetually anxious. So we were so worried about AI taking our jobs and taking our place as employees that it never occurred to us that it could replace us in our relationships.
I truly believe that in the next few years, we'll see AI companionship become a truly mass market product. And I'm not saying this is bad or good. It could be either.
So when an AI offers consistent presence and understanding while people around you are too busy to listen, the line between helpful tool and emotional crutch can blur without you even noticing. I asked myself this question because my first reaction was to absolutely laugh about it, and tell my other friends about it so that we can all laugh together. But is that more human, or to sit and think about why someone must have gone through that, what they might be feeling, and try and empathize with them? When I started, this was supposed to be, an opening joke for my next video. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized that there's more to it than, just, a bizarre, funny tidbit. So the next time you hear something bizarre, maybe you can keep your smart brain to the side and make an API call to the human in you. This video was never to be made, but it now exists. And what I realized is that what we look at as, this bizarre one-off incident might actually become the plight of millions in the future. So in a time where machines are learning to be more like humans, maybe it's time that we got back in touch with our humanity. And that's the only way I see that we build a hopeful future together.